broadcasting for a worldwide audience.
Good morning, folks. I am sorry for the delay in starting this morning. We're having internet issues, so I apologise up front if it dips in and out. Anyway, this is Radio Lewes, where the music matters, and this is Saturday Live, almost. My name's Ben Fuller. I've got a great list of music for you. It comes from a collection called American Highway. Hopefully, I might even have some guests later. Yes, my space is going to be invaded again. Let's just start and hope the internet holds. This is Chris Isaak's Wicked Game.
It's
just had a very rude message from Cy about that, telling me to turn the internet off again for playing Chris Isaacs. Well, tough. He plays as Spice Girls. He's got no room to talk. Originally from 1989, it did not become a hit until later, when it was featured in the David Lynch movie Wild at Heart from 1990. Lee Chestnut, an Atlanta radio station music director who loved David Lynch films, began playing the song, and it quickly became a nationwide top 10 hit. It's subsequently been covered by lots of other artists. I prefer the His Infernal Majesty version, or at least one of those versions, because he did several of them. It's been covered so much so that Dazed magazine questioned whether it might not be the most influential love song in modern music. That's a bit beyond my remit, so I don't know, but here's some Lenny Kravitz. That was the second single to Kravitz's second album, Mama Said, from 1991. And it gave him his first top 10 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, and it also his highest peak in that chart. Not really my kind of music, that, but as ballads go, it ain't that bad. I've got all the usual stuff coming up today on Saturday Live. Again, if it stays live, I'll have the usual self-promotion. We do like to blow our own trumpet here at Radio Lewes. We'll have a news break, again, if the internet behaves itself. And I'll give you the gig guide. And I've got a couple of wonderful gigs coming up at Westgate to tell you about. And I'll tell you what Si's got tickets for down in Station Street as Si's Sound. And, of course, we've got some great music, which we'll follow up now with R.E.M. and Sidewinder. You go from Automatic for the People. That was the album from 1993. It reached number 17 in the UK singles charts. Now for some of that shameless self-promotion I was talking about. I've just lost the list. I'll tell you what, let's have another track and then I'll find it. Let's have some New Radicals. I'll Get What You Give from 1998. An international hit, the first and most successful single from their album Maybe You've Been Brainwashed Too. Reached number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100. Did rather better over here. Reached number 5 on the UK singles charts. Number 4 in Ireland and number 1 in Canada and New Zealand. There you go. Right, I've found my list. We're going to follow the Vapor Trail. I'm in the studio with Steve Brooks. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Ben. You all right?
Steve came to Radio Lewes to a Pass It On show, but he's part of the band that kicked off our Radio Lewes live sessions, the Dead Sea Scouts. And he'd been in contact with our lovely Soraya about doing the radio show, and unfortunately she was ill and passed away. So I did the Pass It On show with you. And from that, you invented your Vapor Trail show. Yeah.
Basically, I had such a good time in here, actually, doing the Pass It On and kind of playing music I liked. And then we kind of chatted, and I begged and pleaded, and eventually you gave in. So, I came up with Vapor Trails, which is basically, the idea was to look at the influences on punk music. And basically, from talking with friends and different things, it's kind of been an ongoing chat I've had for a number of years, and it's kind of like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. And to be honest, it's been fantastic. So, been finding lots and lots of things that I didn't know before. For instance, we did in one of the early shows a band called Death, who were like 3 black guys from Detroit playing punk music long before the Ramones, and that was just fantastic. So, it's been really, really cool. And, thanks to Radio Lewes for letting me carry on with it, basically.
Well, it's a pleasure, Steve. Where did your love of punk come from?
Well, the funny thing is, I was a little bit too young for punk in the sense I was 10 when the Sex Pistols were on Bill Grundy and things like that. But the next day, we all read about it at school, at junior school. We had a friend called Gimbo who could read better than the rest of us, and Gimbo read out the transcript, and we just thought that was hilarious. Looking back on it, I think, and I can prove this with an Etch-a-Sketch and about 7 cans of cider, that Anarchy in the UK is probably the most important single ever released in my lifetime. And that's just for the sheer effect it had. What punk did changed everything, at least in this country, musically. And I really love that. But it's also, from doing this show as well, finding all those influences of things that I love as well. So kind of mods, soul, ska, Motown, everything else, all that stuff kind of came through in punk as well. So, ongoing love affair, I guess.
Well, you had an influence of sort of controversial music from your dad, didn't you? Because he was a teddy boy.
Controversial, yeah, I guess so, yeah. Yes,
rock and roll was controversial.
Absolutely, yeah. There was a brilliant story about my dad is that he wanted to get a suit made, and back in the day you had to go to a tailor and get your drapes made, and he went and got a quote, and he came back to his dad, and they both worked in a sawmill together, and my dad said, I need a few shillings to put down on this thing. And my granddad, Ernie, said, not unless you cut that effing hair. And my dad said, oh, well, I'll go and save up myself. Well, words to that effect. And that's what he did, yes. Yes, controversial it was, definitely, yes.
Yes, indeed. Now, I mentioned the band, the Dead Sea Scouts. How are things going with the band you've just released?
Well, we're on the verge of releasing something. We've actually decided to take the summer off and kind of, because there's 5 of us in the band. Again, 5 of us in the same room at the same time is quite difficult. And so we did some recording a couple of months ago, and that came out really, really well. So that's kind of waiting there to do something with. Unfortunately, we did lose a bass player, which was very careless of us. Probably fell down the back of the sofa somewhere. So we've got another guy in, Rob, and he's fantastic. He's really, really good bass player. And he's also brought the average age of the band down by about 10 years, I think.
We've had some discussions about where your show could go and other things we could do. So what future plans have you got for Radio Lewes?
My benign dictatorship. Basically with Vapor Trails, we've been looking at the influences of punk, and the last show that I did, we were looking at the covers that punk bands did. So we looked at the kind of originals. The one that I'm going to be recording this time round will actually be the punks playing those covers, and then we'll be looking at covers of punk songs. So there's a lot of scope to go with it, and I've actually got a couple of people that are interested in coming in and talking about post-punk. So there's a show there already lined up, waiting to go. But basically, we can take it and look at influences of anything. So it doesn't have to be punk. A couple of people have asked me to do one on influences on two-tone, so that'd be pretty cool as well.
There'd be a fair bit of punk in that.
A fair bit of punk in that, yeah, as well. And also, I know that you've asked me to pop in on the rock show at some point, and we'll talk about punk and metal. And again, that's a huge crossover there, and loads of stuff. So, yeah, we could just see where it goes. And that's kind of the idea about the name, really, Vapor Trails. It'll just go anywhere, really.
Brilliant. Steve, thank you so much for giving me your time.
Cheers, Ben.
Great to see you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Everybody be cool, it's a robbery!
Empty up you and let's move! And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
To rob the bank, we got Steve outside, counting full pack, and everything's cool and everything's smooth. Hey, that's smooth. I walk up to the teller, I give her the letter, she gives me the loot with puckered up lips and a wink that I found cute. And I said, baby, 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 is there some karmic G-love thing happening here, baby, or what? By that time, fast at me with the said it's time to blow, you know. So out the door we go, back to the ride, Steve inside and alive, and off we drive. See, I hurt my lower lumbar, you know we never get far riding around in a stolen police car. So we dropped it off and piled in the caddy. Steve was driving, cause I had to talk to my man.
Look, I don't know anything about any setup. You can torture me all you want.
Torture you, that's a good idea. I like that one.
Running around, robbing banks, all whacked up with Scooby snacks. Running around, robbing banks, all whacked up with Scooby snacks. Now I don't give a fuck about the Hell's Gate and punk in the crowd, man, I'm still standing up straight. So we pull these jobs, make a little money. No one gets hurt if they don't act funny. On the way to the yacht, we almost got caught. Fast shooting mailboxes, going where the cops is, yeah. They asked the donuts adjacent from the phone whose mailbox fast had just exploded. They gave chase from our man Steve's and Ace, and we lost those brothers with haste. We cast it off, and along we went off Bermuda to an island resort we rented.
Son, I need you cool. Are you cool? I am cool.
Running around, robbing banks, all whacked up with Scooby snacks. Running around, robbing banks, all whacked up with Scooby snacks. Running around, robbing banks, all whacked up with Scooby snacks. Running around, robbing banks, all whacked up with Scooby snacks.
Fun-loving criminals there and Scooby Snacks from 1996. Thankfully, that was the clean version. I didn't mean to play that one. From the album Come Find Yourself. Now, I'm looking at the clock, and it is 25 to 11. As we started late, it means your gig guide's late. This is usually the half-the-hour point. But tonight, Bond of Union, folk vocal harmony trio are at the Elephant and Castle, 8 p.m. That's £6 if you want to go to that one. Fish Brothers Victorian Music Hall Punk Rock. That's a very intriguing title. Lansdowne, 8 p.m, and it's our favourite price, that one. It's free. And the Urban Voodoo Machine are doing Gypsy Blues Bop and Stroll at the Con Club at 8 p.m, and it's £10 a ticket. Monday the 11th sees Pete Oxley and Nick Meyer jazz guitar duo at the Snowdrop at 8 p.m, and that one's free. Wednesday the 13th, the Poozies. Never heard of them. Folk at the Con Club, 7:30, 15 quid. Friday the 15th sees Fat Belly Jones doing Scar at the Con Club. They are fantastic. I saw them out at this Furl Fest. Con Club, 8 p.m, and it's free. Saturday the 16th, Tom McConville, Newcastle Irish and Scottish Traditional Folk at the Elephant and Castle, 8 p.m, and £8 a ticket. And Who Are You? A Who tribute at the Con Club, 8 p.m, 10 quid. Sunday the 17th sees the Ramonas back at the Con Club, the all-girl Ramones tribute at 7 p.m, and that's £14. You can get tickets for that at Size Sounds. And I'm going to do the rest of that in a minute. I want to tell you about something more important, at least in my book. We've got a gig here at Westgate on the 30th of March, and I'm very happy to tell you that I've got two of the Dead Sea Scouts in the studio. Morning, boys.
Morning.
Morning.
Hello.
Particularly dead this morning.
Particularly very dead.
Are you indeed?
Yeah, not very scouty at all.
Good indeed. Well, I've got your EP with me, Flotsam, which I believe you want to promote with this gig, so tell us all about it.
Oh, geez, Steve, I think.
Oh, blimey, and I haven't written a script. Yes, this is the EP that we recorded last year, and we finally got round to getting it printed up, and yes, we're playing here at the Westgate on Saturday the 30th, and we'll have other merchandising available, apparently.
Yes, we shall.
Yes.
It's ordered.
It's ordered. Is it ordered? Oh,
It's
brilliant!
ordered.
Right. Yeah. So it's our kind of because we played here last year, and we thought it'd be great to actually incorporate Radio Lewes as well.
Well, it wasn't just that you played here. You kicked off our Radio Lewes live sessions for us, which we're eternally grateful for because they've been very successful. And this is another one of these Radio Lewes live sessions. So it's on the 30th of March. You can get a ticket free at Size Sounds, and we got tickets. You can't get in without a ticket. It's an invited audience. But you've got guests, haven't you?
We have. We've got the Dichotics, who describe themselves as a homegrown garage psych band. So they should be interesting.
No,
plenty rowdiness, and we can always follow that.
I've got the details here that Steve gave me, and I see the psych garage rock stuff, but what is alternative folk off? I have to be very careful how I say that.
Oh, that's how we've always described our stuff. So, yeah, folk off was the name that Steve gave to the genre of music that we played. When we started, it was very much like a sort of a folk instrument thing, and eventually we got louder and louder and louder, and then the banjo player went. Yeah. And we got a bit louder, and to the point where it's now electric guitars and that, but still with that sort of, we started from folk.
We've still got the same songs, haven't we?
Yeah, moved towards a slightly more indie punky direction, and folk off seems about the right.
And I should have copywritten it really, because there are albums out there called folk off.
Yes, there are.
Missed on that one.
Yeah,
but ever. We are the originals.
Well, it'll be a great night. And there will be a bar, cash only I'm afraid, and all proceeds go to Radio Lewes and the Oyster Project, and any donations you wish to give are gratefully received. And I think we ought to have a track from your Flotsam EP, so which one would you like?
Sounds good to me.
Whichever one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well,
somebody else choose.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look on the back, you get to see the version with the typo in it, which is limited to the first 100 EPs.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, let's go with Scout Sweat by the Wash, because that's one I don't play that often. I like this one.
Seashells, but everybody knows what lies in store. and sun beneath. Pilot knife to waves, and usher ships to sleep. Good night, my darling, the world's not forgotten. The smiles that we had, our faces, psychology, every hour we drifted peace.
That's a beautiful song, and that's been played by a rival station too, hasn't it?
It has, yes.
It has.
Yeah, right, I suppose they are, really, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been played in. It's also been played in Norway
Wow.
on an Oslo radio station
Yeah.
by a French girl.
So you've gone global then.
Yeah,
We have,
absolutely.
well, yes.
International.
Yes.
Brilliant.
International, yeah.
Brilliant, very good. So you've... why have you only got one EP out? Are you lazy or...
Well, mainly it could be because we keep losing the odd member every time we want to do something like this.
I think calling him an odd member is a bit unfair.
No, I mean, not that odd member. We've lost a number of odd members over the years.
Yeah, so it's partly been Rob getting up to speed with all the bass lines.
Yeah.
But effectively, once we've done this gig, we'll have 12, 14 songs absolutely nailed, and then we can go back into the studio and knock out the rest of it.
Well, I apologise for calling you lazy, a bit rude.
No,
I
it's
really
true.
look forward to that, because that is a very, very well done disc. It's just a shame there's only 4 tracks on it.
Oh, that's a shame. Keep wanting more, no?
Yeah. Well, we'll play another one a bit later on. I've got some more gig guide stuff for you here. Where did we get to? We got to the Ramonas.
So it's worth saying with the Ramonas that the guy who produced that for us, Ali Gavin, is his other half is one of the Ramonas.
Absolutely, I've forgotten about that.
Yeah. And also a member of Cockwomble. Who
Less
are
said.
doing great things.
Yes, they are. Yes, especially early on Saturday morning.
Yes. Monday the 18th sees Julian Nicholas, Darren Beckett, Nigel Thomas and Terry Seabrook doing Jazz at the Snowdrop at 8 p.m, and that one's our favourite price. Friday the 22nd sees Mickey Hart and the Heartbreakers, 50s and 60s rock and roll, rhythm and blues, from when rhythm and blues was rhythm and blues, and some soul at the Con Club, 8 p.m, and again it's free. Saturday the 23rd sees Loose Caboose DJ Night at the Con Club, 7:30, and that one's £6. Eli Cuthbertson is doing English traditional folk and melodeon at the Elephant and Castle, 8 p.m, and it's £5. Love Action, Smash Hits, Chart Toppers and Guilty Pleasures with a Fruitful Sound System at the Royal Oak at 8 p.m, and that one's £5. Sunday the 24th sees Wave Pictures Rock at the Con Club, 7:30, £12.50 for that. Monday the 25th, Terry Seabrook's back with his organ at the Jazz Club at 8 p.m, and it's free. On Friday the 29th, there's a Reggae Ska Night at the Con Club with Bin Men at 8:30. That one's free. I've just told you about the Dead Sea Scouts and the Dichotics here at Westgate. Shirley Collins and Ian Keary will be at the Elephant and Castle on the same evening. That's £10 a ticket at 8 p.m. And then on Sunday the 31st, John Forrester, Sundays in the Bar session at the Con Club, 3:30, and it's free. And there's a jam session hosted by Sophie C. Mason upstairs at the Royal Oak with Rome at 7:30, and that one's free. That's all of the gig guide, except for something else going on here at Westgate in May. And we'll tell you that after another Dead Sea Scouts track. So which one do you want this time?
I don't know. Should we have Left Behind? Cause
Left Behind,
it doesn't get played much.
It's the least popular song on the EP. It's definitely the one to play.
I wrote it.
Left Behind.
That's probably something to do with it.
The key is to unlock my heart. You know it still fits in
I do. I wait and wait and wait and wait, but it don't come around no more. You said some things, oh yeah, you said some things in your time, but it's the memory of your silence that is left behind. You fall in love with most anyone. Why can't you love the one you will? I understand your difficulty. It's the lies I can't forgive. You said some things, oh yeah, you said some things in your time, but it's the memory of your silence that is left behind. You said some things, oh yeah, you said some things in your time, yeah. But it's the memory of your silence that is left behind. I wrote a song to explain myself. It just made my fingers sore. And why the hell did you take off your clothes just to let me pick them off the floor? You said some things, oh yeah, you said some things in your time, yeah. But it's the memory of your silence that is left behind. You said some things, oh yeah, you said some things in your time, yeah. But it's the memory of your silence that is left behind. Left behind. Left behind. Left behind. Left behind.
Oh, rude jokes before the watershed. I wish I could repeat that. That is a great tune. Why is that one not so popular?
I don't know.
Perhaps I was
That's
just better. But yeah,
great
I mean,
punky sound there with M's
it
voice.
is, yeah, that's actually 30-year-old this year, that tune. The lyrics are slightly newer, but I actually wrote that for Ali B 30 years ago.
Wow.
It was called Strawberry Yogurt then, and I don't think we can go into that.
That's another thing that
This early in the morning.
Pre-watershed, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you very much for coming in and invading the space and keeping me company and making me giggle a bit as well.
That's right.
It's very welcome. I'm usually here on my own. So good luck, very good luck with the gig. I will be there, of course. I'll be running the bar. And we'll see you very, very soon.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for playing the tracks.
Yeah,
no problem at all. We'll have a bit more music while I think about what I'm going to do next, because I haven't got a clue this morning. This is Faith No More. This is Easy.
Turn the lights out, baby. This one's for the ladies in the house. No, it sounds funny, but I just can't stand the pain. Girl, I'm leaving you tomorrow.
like Sunday morning. I wanna be high, so high. And I wanna be free to know the things I do alright. I wanna be free, just me, oh baby. Why I'm easy like Sunday morning, yeah, yeah. That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning.
Kiss me out of the bearded barley nightly, beside the green, green grass. Swing, swing, swing the spinning step. You wear those shoes and I will wear that dress. Oh, kiss me beneath the milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open head, strike up the band and make the fireflies dance. Silver moon sparkling, so kiss me. Kiss me down by the broken tree house. Swing me up on its hanging time. Bring your flowered hat. We'll take the trail marked on your father's map. Oh, kiss me beneath the milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open head, strike up the band and make the fireflies dance. Silver moon sparkling, so kiss me. Kiss me
I was interrupted a bit by the lads leaving the studio, so that's why you got back to back there. And that was Sixpence None the Richer with Kiss Me, and before that, Faith No More. We got a couple of 3 minutes before the news, so we'll give you another track, and then we'll see if Alexa will play the game. And this is Katie Lang and Constant Craving. From 1992 and the album Ingenue, that was Constant Craving from Katie Lang. And it's just gone 11 o'clock by my clock up there. So, Alexa, can we have the news headlines, please? I'll try again. Alexa, news headlines, please.
Here's your flash briefing. In weather, currently, in Lewes it's 10 degrees Celsius with mostly cloudy skies. Today, you can expect showers, with a high of 12 degrees and a low of 6 degrees. From BBC Sports News.
BBC Sport.
England women have just pulled off the great escape of Guwahati, beating India by 1 run in the third T20.
Here we go. Last ball of the game. India need 3 to win. Cross bowls. Shikhapandi swings through the offside. Tammy Beaumont dives. It should only be 1. The throw comes into the non-striker's end, and England have won. England have won this third T20 international by 1 run, and they have won this series 3-0 from nowhere.
Yeah, India needed 3 runs in the final over. England restricted them to just 1, took 2 wickets as well. Stefan Schemmelt was in the commentary box. He's had a time to catch his breath. I think what a finish, Stefan.
And all the praise should go to Kate Cross. She really held her nerve in the final over. 3 dots. 2 wickets in 2 balls, then conceded only a single from that final ball. It never looked like England's 119 for 6 was going to be enough until Cross intervened, and then she secured that series whitewash. Now they go on to Sri Lanka for 3 one-day internationals and 3 T20s. They begin next Saturday.
Stefan, thank you. 3-0 to England, as he says. A quickfire 87, meanwhile, from Sam Billings, and a 4-wicket haul from Chris Jordan for only 6 runs were the highlights as England's men thrashed the West Indies by 137 runs in the second T20 in St Kitts. It puts England 2-0 up in the 3-match series. England captain Owen Morgan paid tribute to his batters and his bowlers.
Sam Billings and Joe Root's partnership really did put us in an above par position. But when the West Indies have performers like Gale coming in, you never know what a good score is going to be. Our bowlers really did take momentum and roll with it. And each and every one of them were exceptional, probably particularly Chris Jordan.
In the Six Nations, Wales continue their quest for a Grand Slam as they visit Murrayfield to face Scotland today. Wales are currently on a 12-match winning run, something which head coach Warren Gatland puts down to experience and composure.
They're a team now that are definitely maturing, that they can go through phases in the game where they're under a bit of pressure, but that doesn't seem to, and that happens in all games, it doesn't seem to rock them, and to know that they're going to get opportunities at some stage in the game where they're going to get some dominance. So the maturity in the team, not panicking, keeping your patience and having that belief that they can come through and win a game.
You can hear Scotland-Wales on 5 Live at 2:15 this afternoon. England versus Italy follows at 4:45. In the Women's Six Nations, a converted last-gasp try gave Wales a 17-15 win over Scotland. Hibernian Chief Executive Leanne Dempster has refused to rule out closing sections of Easter Road after more crowd problems last night. It's after Rangers captain James Tavernier was confronted by a fan as he went to take a throw-in.
Who thought it was all right last week to come in here with a glass bottle and throw it? Who thinks it's all right to jump over an advertising hoarding? 99.9% of the people in here don't think it's okay. But this person and people like him are going to feel the full weight of what we can deliver and hopefully what Police Scotland can deliver as well.
Well, that game finished Hibs 1, Rangers 1. It means Celtic can extend their lead at the top of the Scottish Premiership to 10 points with a win against Aberdeen today. Norwich City, meanwhile, are 5 points clear at the top of the Championship this morning. They beat Swansea 1-0. And the English golfer Tommy Fleetwood shares the lead with Keegan Bradley on 9 under par after 2 rounds of the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill in Florida. Fleetwood fired in 2 eagles on his way to a 6 under par 66 in the second round. They both share the lead and are 4 shots ahead of the field.
The latest BBC Sport update.
From BBC News.
The BBC.
A 20-year-old man's due before magistrates later charged with murdering 17-year-old Jodie Chesney. The teenager was killed in a park in East London last Friday. Another man is still being questioned. Meanwhile, a 15-year-old boy has been charged with murder following the death of a 17-year-old in West Kensington on Thursday. The Home Secretary is facing criticism after the death of the baby son of Shamima Begum. Sajid Javid revoked her citizenship because she's joined the Islamic State group 4 years ago. The chairman of the Conservative Party, Brandon Lewis, is defending Sajid Javid.
As somebody who has served in the Home Office, I can tell you factually the Home Secretary will have made a decision based on what he believes is in the best interest of the security of the people of the United Kingdom. The duty of a Home Secretary in this country is to keep British people safe, and he made a decision based on the advice he had about keeping British people safe.
Thousands of people who invested in a high-risk bond scheme marked as a fixed-rate ISA may have lost everything after the company collapsed. London Capital and Finance is in administration and its marketing campaign is under investigation for mis-selling. Administrators hope they can recoup what they can. The American actor Jussie Smollett is facing a series of new charges following claims he falsely reported that he was the victim of a hate crime. The 36-year-old Empire star denies lying about an alleged attack in January. The Brexit Secretary, Stephen Barclay, is accusing the EU's negotiator, Michel Barnier, of trying to rerun old arguments. Talks to amend the withdrawal agreement remain deadlocked over the Irish border. MPs will vote again on Tuesday on Theresa May's deal. And more than 200 pieces of art belonging to George Michael will be auctioned off next week. The collection includes works by Tracy Emin, Anthony Gormley and Damien Hirst. All money goes to charity. Christian Albu is from Christie's Auction House.
He collected between 2004 and 2009. He was going to see artists, he was going to see galleries. So we have like 4 or 5 years span of intense collecting. I truly believe that his finesse, being an artist, led him into a very easy journey into visual arts.
BBC News.
That's all from your flash briefing.
Brilliant. Now, I've got some more gig guide stuff for you. I'm going to play you another tune and I'm going to tell you we've got another gig coming up here at Westgate in May. But before that, this is Cheap Trick and I Want You to Want Me. From 1977 and the album In Colour. That was I Want You to Want Me, and that was a massive hit in Japan, hit #1 over there. I can't tell you where else because Wikipedia's a bit sketchy on those details. Now, as promised, I wanted to tell you about another gig here at Westgate. This is the 30th of May, Thursday the 30th of May. Death and Vanilla and special guests will be here. Doors open at 7:30, priced at £12 plus a booking fee of it makes it 14 quid a ticket. This is with Melting Vinyl and the Lewes Psychedelic Festival. They're a Swedish cult atmospheric electronic pop act, according to Melting Vinyl. All details are at meltingvinyl.co.uk. Tickets available online at See Tickets. And you can also find links to the band from Facebook, Twitter and SoundCloud from the website. That's the 30th of May, Death and Vanilla, electronic pop, here at Westgate. It's bound to be a great night. I will probably be running a bar again, so come and say hello if you want to. I'm going to play you another track and then I'll give you some of the stuff that Si's got tickets for down there at Si's Sounds, which we call the Radio Lewes box office. This is Sniffin' the Tears.
Little driving on a Saturday night.
Well, I'm not familiar. That was Driver's Seat from 1978 from the British act Sniffing the Tears. It appears on their debut album, Fickle Heart. They were really considered a one-hit wonder. It was their only hit. OK, now I've got some of the stuff that Si's got tickets for. Let me see, 17th of March, I've told you about this one already, it's the Ramonas. They're at the Con Club, £14 a ticket. And then on the 6th of April, Steve Ignorant's Slice of Life, Con Club again. These are all Con Club, the ones that Si's got tickets for. And anything that's in Brighton, you won't get tickets at Si's. Slaughter and the Dogs, they're there on the 25th of April. And on the 28th, you've got the Alabama 3 acoustic set, £18 a ticket for that one. On the 6th of May, the Svetlanas will be at the Hope and Ruin in Brighton. The UK Subs will be there on the 12th. On the 15th, Electric Six are at the Con Club. Si might have sold out on that one by now. He hasn't let me know, so he probably will now. And on the 20th, the Devils will be at the Con Club. On the 25th of May, the Verucas, they're at the Hope and Ruin in Brighton. 2nd of June sees the Subhumans back at the Con Club, and July 13th sees Penetration there. September sees, I'm not sure where this one's at. The next two, they haven't put location on the flyer. Punk's Picnic Boat on the 7th, and the 27th, Spear of Destiny play One-Eyed Jack's Boat. You can probably get more information about those at facebook.com/bigbluesled. They'll give you any information that's missing there. And Si's got tickets for most of those that are at the Con Club. Next is Todd Rundgren, and I Saw the Light.
Last night, I was feeling something wasn't right. There was not another soul in sight. Only you, so we walked along. Though I knew that there was something wrong, and a feeling that feels so strong about you. When you gazed up at me, and the answer was plain to see, 'cause I saw the light in your eyes, in your eyes. Though we had our fling, I just never would suspect a thing, till that little bell began to ring in my head, but I tried to run, though I knew it wouldn't help me none, 'cause I couldn't never love no one, so I said, but my feelings for you were just something I never knew, till I saw the light in your eyes, in your But I love you best. It's not something that I say in jest, 'cause you're different girl from all the rest. In my eyes, and I ran out before, but I won't do it anymore. Can't you see the light in my eyes, in my
That's from 1972, and it's the opening track from his double album, Something and Everything. On the inner notes, Rundgren states that he intended the song to be the hit of the album and copied the Motown tradition of putting his hit songs at the beginning of the album. The song peaked at 15 in Canada, number 16 on the US Billboard Hot 100, only made number 35 here in the UK, and 36 even here in the UK singles charts. Never mind. We'll have another track, I think. This is Jerry Rafferty. Get it right next time. From the album Night Owl, that was Jerry Rafferty from 1979. Now, we're going to have a look at the slightly different bit. It's taken a little bit of a time for me to track down Nick Cooper, but I thought it was about time we had another chat about you and the slightly different bit.
Oh, well, you know, I have my other career, but I'm not allowed to talk about MI9 because I have to kill you. Well, what do you want to know, really?
Tell everybody how you got roped into the gang here at Radio Lewes.
Well, it's very simple. My partner, Susan, was working in the kitchen, and she said, you know what, they want somebody to be, another DJ. I thought, well, be a DJ. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I can do that. I can play stuff I like, and...
So essentially you joined us because your missus wanted you out from under her feet for a little while?
Yes, she's always trying to get me out of the house with very good reason. I have a lot of space.
But it's a great excuse to come and have some fun, isn't it? So tell us about the slightly different radio show.
Well, I kind of lumber myself with calling it the slightly different radio show. I'd really like to call it the slightly different wireless programme to give it a really antique-aged feel. Because what I like to do, if possible, is play stuff that people have forgotten about or have never heard. And often there's a good reason it's been forgotten about, and often there's a good reason they never heard it. But it's not always like that. I mean, I do play pop stuff as well, but I do like to, dredge through the archives of ancient jazz and old blues and rhythm and blues stuff when rhythm and blues was rhythm and blues, and some cranky folky stuff from music from around the world as well. Particularly just fallen in love with the music of Mali recently. I mean, there's some fantastic musicians coming out of Mali.
There's some good rock music comes out of Mali as well. But you do have a sort of liking to play some absolutely atrocious stuff. I'm thinking about Wince of the Week.
Oh, yeah, well, Wince of the Week. I mean, who else is going to play a Barbara Cartland LP or the fabulous Fluffy Where Are You record? I think it's got to be done. People need to, suffer the pain I've suffered. I want to spread their misery around.
Well, you've done that with a couple of records, and there's a good reason why some of them never get played. But it's become a fixture, really, of the show, and the Slightly Different Radio Show always makes us laugh. It's a great show. Long may it rain, Nick. Thank you very much for your time. We hope you keep going.
Oh, thank you too.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn, and nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds are getting so much resistance from behind. Every time we stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly say hooray for our side. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man come and take you away. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop now.
Buffalo Springfield, For What It's Worth there, from 1966. Recorded on the 5th of December. Released as a single on Alco Records on December 23rd. And it peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. Next is a nod to King Mob, because this track I think is coming up on next week's show. This is just a teaser. It's a great tune. Booker T and the MGs and Green Onions. Described as one of the most popular instrumental rock and roll songs ever. Green Onions there from Booker T and the MGs from 1962. It is a great tune, and I won't tell you why it's relevant, but it is relevant, and it will come up in King Mob's next show. The Velvet Underground are next. I'm waiting for my man.
Chasing all women around.
Written by Lou Reed and first released on their 1967 debut album, The Velvet Underground and Nico. As a lot of their stuff, the main theme in that track was drugs. And after leaving the band in 1970, Lou Reed continued to incorporate that track into his solo performances. It was released as a single in 1971, but I haven't got any chart position for it. J.J. Gale is next. Very relevant considering the last one. This is Cocaine. Although that was popularised by Eric Clapton after his cover was released in 1977 on the album Slow Hand. That was written and recorded by J.J. Cale. I said Gale before, didn't I? Cale. The year before. It did chart, but not in the US or the UK. Australia, Austria, Germany, New Zealand, Sweden and Switzerland. New Zealand, it went number 1. Number 2 in Switzerland, number 5 in Austria, and number 10 in Sweden. 22 in Germany and only 45 in Australia. It's a great tune nonetheless. Now we're going to have a look at the rock spot.
Right, Ben, come here.
What do you want?
Oh, I want to ask you about your rock show. You've been badgering me about all mine, and I thought it's about time you had yours done. So, right, tell me about your rock show. What's it all about?
My rock show, it's about bringing fantastic rock music to a wider audience. Simple as that. I try and find all the best new stuff. I still play all the old classic stuff.
Well, you have to.
And I bring my love of rock music to a wider audience. That's really all it is. I just want to prove to people that rock music is just not a loud, horrible noise like Motorhead.
Was it not? Oh. So, why do you like rock music? Where did that come from?
Actually, I was very, very young, and I was quite often babysat by my cousin Caroline, who was a huge AC/DC fan, right. And she used to play that to make me go to sleep.
Oh, well, that's a good one.
AC/DC were my lullabies.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, that was it. It was a great sound. I've loved it since I was a toddler.
That's cool. That's good. Well, I've been listening to it as well, and I found a few things that I've not heard of before. Some of them I thought, oh, really? Is that rock? And it's, yeah, it's good. And as long as you keep finding it, you know, your mole does a good job for you.
My mole, he finds all sorts of stuff for me that I haven't got time to look for.
So keep on the good work and keep on rocking.
Absolutely.
That's it. Ta-da.
Is that it then?
That's it. I've got nothing else to say to you because it's just so good.
Oh,
I thought that'll do.
Okay.
Fed up with you chasing me. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, my love. I heard a kiss from you. Red magic satin playing it too. All through the morning rain, I gaze. The sun doesn't shine. Rainbows and waterfalls run through my mind. In the garden, I see was purple shower bells and tea. Orange birds and river cousins dressed in green. Pretty music I hear, so happy and loud. Blue flower echo from a cherry cloud. Feel sunshine sparkle pink and blue. Playground will laugh if you try to ask, is it cool? If you arrive and don't see me, I'm going to be with my baby. I am free, flying in her arms over the sea. Stained window, yellow candy screen, see speakers of high, with velvet roses digging freedom fly. A present from you, strawberry letter 22. The music plays, I sit in for a few.
There's another track, excuse me, better known for a cover version by the Brothers Johnson from 1977. But that was Shuggy Otis and Strawberry Letter 23 from 1971 from his album Freedom Flight. And it did chart. It made number 5 on Billboard Hot 100, number 35 here in the UK. Made number 1 on the Billboard R&B. Did okay. I don't know why it's not known in its own right. Now, we've got about 10-15 minutes left. I'm going to finish this playlist, I think, because I'm running out of steam, I have to say. Bit thrown by everything going wrong this morning. Bobby Womack, I think, across 110th Street.
I was the third brother of 5, doing whatever I had to do to survive. I'm not saying what I did was alright. Trying to break out of the ghetto was a day-to-day fight. Being down so long, getting up didn't cross my mind. But I knew there was a better way of life, and I was just trying to find. You don't know what you do till you put under pressure. Across 110th Street is a hell of a tester. Across 110th Street, pimps trying to catch a woman that's weak. Across 110th Street, pushers won't let the junkie go free. Across 110th Street, woman trying to catch a trick on the street. Across 110th Street, you can find it all in the street. I got one more thing I'd like to talk to y'all about right now. There's a better way out. Snorting that coke, shooting that dope, man, you're copping out. Take my advice, it's either live or die. You got to be strong if you want to survive. The family on the upper side of town will catch hell without a ghetto around. In every city you'll find the same thing going down. Harlem is the capital of every ghetto town. Help me sing it. Across 110th Street, pimps trying to catch a woman that's weak. Across 110th Street, wishes won't let the junkie go free. Oh, across 110th Street, a woman trying to catch a trick on the street. Ooh, baby. Across 110th Street, look, you can find it all in the street. Yes, you can. Oh, look around you, look around you, look around you, look around you. Yeah.
That was a single from the soundtrack of the film of the same name that starred Anthony Quinn and Yaphet Kotto. And of course it featured prominently in Quentin Tarantino's 1997 film Jackie Brown. Also Ridley Scott's 2007 movie American Gangster. That's a great, great tune. Let's have some Marlena Shaw. This is California Soul.
Lingers in your ear, but you can't forget from sundown to sunset. Nah, nah. It's all in the air, you hear it everywhere. No matter what you do, it's gonna grab a hold on you. California 'cause it's really such a groove now. Puts a brand new kind of thinking in your mind, and you can't go wrong 'cause you're grooving all day long. California soul, California soul. We have a melody and the beat, y'all, but it didn't seem complete, yes, until they saw two lovers kissing. Oh, sure, they knew just what was missing. So happy they were rocking and feeling, because they had added that loving feeling to California soul. California soul. Might as well get with it. Sound you hear, the fingers in your ear. Oh, just get up with it. Early in the morning till the sun goes down. It's in the air, it's in the air. Oh, it's all
Oh, that was a tune I haven't heard before. That was a great one. From 1969 on the album The Spice of Life. Well, that is it. I'm out of time. We got through it. It stayed online, thankfully, so it was Saturday Live, and I was Ben Fuller. Thank you so much for listening. My thanks to Stephen Scott for coming in and having a chat with me, and thank you for listening. I'm going to leave you with Lalo Schifrin's Bullet, the main title to the movie. Until I'm back again. Bye-bye.
Local webcasting for a worldwide audience.